Remember the two songs that you've listened to in the history series at the 70s episode?
Were those Sweet Home Alabama and My Sharona?
And My Sharona, right,
Okay.
right. Well, I'm curious how you will feel about this one because it was released in 71, right at the beginning of the
Okay,
of
okay.
that same decade.
Okay. Well, let's give it a try. Hi, everyone. I am getting ready to sit down and listen to another band I've never heard. This one is called Traffic. And I understand that they were a band which comes from the late 60s. They were English. They formed in Birmingham. And I've been told that they incorporated all kinds of additional instruments in their music, like saxophone and mellotron and even harpsichord. And I kind of perked up when I heard harpsichord because in the 20th century, even in classical music, harpsichord has been consciously revived from time to time and utilized by different composers, different performers. But it's not such an integrated, ever-present feature as it used to be back in the, say, 1700s. So I thought, harpsichord in a rock band. That's interesting. Well, this particular piece I'm listening to doesn't feature the harpsichord, but it features some other instruments as well. I'm looking at the score here, and I see saxophones, trumpet, tuba, guitars and drums, of course, organ, more brass, piano. So I'm very curious how this is going to work out, what the sound is going to be like, and I'm ready to dive in and see what I discover. So let's get started. Very jazzy.
If you see something that looks like a star and it's shooting up out of the ground and your head is spinning from a loud guitar and you just can't escape from the sound, don't worry too much, it'll happen to you. We were children once playing with toys, and the thing that you're hearing is only the sound of the low spot high heel boys.
Such an interesting. It feels very jazzy to me. It's very atmospheric and kind of smoky, hazy. All the different textures blending together, rather improvisatory, and I kind of enjoyed that fade in. it sounded, I was trying to figure out, should I turn the volume up? Should I not? I wasn't sure what to do with it, but I felt it growing, and so I just decided to go with it, and it just kept building, and not in an intrusive sort of way. It just came out of the distance. And then as the voice came in as well, it was a very natural inclusion that just worked its way into the blend, and very smooth, very smooth. So now here we are, and I think I'm finally catching my bearings a little bit. I was trying to figure out at the beginning, what's happening here? Where is it going? And now we have the piano coming in a little bit more clearly. There's some more, well, you know, every instrument is providing a rhythmic contribution to this. And that's one of the things that makes it sound so sophisticated, so complex. It's not just one instrument providing the rhythmic drive. It's every instrument. The piano, the drums, even the saxophones. Everyone has something rhythmic to contribute, as well as all this harmonic color, texture element. It's very finely woven together. Let's go back just to the end of that verse there, where it finishes by saying the low spark of high-heeled boys. And I want to hear how this little interlude comes in, because it was a very clear transition point, but it was very smooth as well. Here we go.
Thing that you're hearing is only the sound of the low spark of high-heeled boys.
The drum really helps it then. And then the piano comes in.
The percentage you're paying is too high priced, while you're living beyond all your means. And the man in the suit has just bought a new car from the profit he's made on your.
And I love that little beep, 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 beep happening in the tuba and the baritone sax. They're doing the same thing, and it's a fun little bit of humorous sound coming in there. I like that.
And the man in the suit has just bought a new car from the profit he's made on your greens. But today you just spread that the man was shot dead by a gun that didn't make any noise. But it wasn't the bullet that laid him to rest, was the low spark of high-heeled boys.
Ah, we've heard this before, right? Same ending. This makes you feel like moving with it.
If you had just a minute to breathe, and they granted you one final wish, would you ask for something like another chance? Or something similar as this?
You know, I'm really enjoying in this mix. I am enjoying the way the bass line and the piano are working together. This bum 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 bum, which in my score is being showed being shown here with the fretless guitar. It sounds like it's happening possibly even with a brass instrument as well, perhaps, but here it's being shown on the guitar. And then the piano is talking back to it and having a conversation with it. And that is one of the things that is so satisfying about a jazzy style piece, is the conversational element. It's not the kind of music that I perceive as being something that has necessarily a strong, continuous development throughout. Sometimes it does, but very often it's very conversational. It feels like we're all sitting in a room together and the conversation is flowing. We have somebody talking and somebody else contributing and somebody else interjecting, and the communication is very dynamic, fluid, and of course, as with any real communication, there's an improvisatory element. So it's not planned. It's not something that we know where we're going all the time. But at the same time, everybody is very unified and together. And that's what I find satisfying about this kind of music. And here, in this verse, it's especially standing out to me, the piano and the bass line.
Another chance, or something similar as this. Don't worry too much, it'll happen to you. As sure as your sorrows are joys,
And the voice just
and the
weaves
thing
through.
that disturbs you is only the sound of the love.
And it's getting a little more settled. Notice how the baritone sax and tuba, with their little interjections, are playing with what we were just hearing in the bass line. Bum, 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 bum. And now we're hearing this little sound. Listen for it.
And the thing that disturbs you is only the sound of the love spark of high heel boys.
Bum, bum, bum.
The percentage you're paying is too high price, while you're living beyond all your means. And the man in the suit has just bought a new car from the profit he's made on your greens. But today you
there's
just
more
swear
bass
that the
happening.
man was shot dead by a gun that didn't make any noise. But it wasn't the bullet that laid him to rest, was the love spark of high heel boys. High heel boys.
Ah, here's the bass and the piano again. At the same time, we have these higher sax sounds. Almost trying to sound a little bit oriental there, just a hint. Maybe it's, yeah, they're switching to a semi-exotic sound quality there. Hear it in the percussion as well. Now it's the piano's turn to improvise, and he's playing along through the different, but still we hear the fundamental rhythm. With the bass. Here comes the other instrument again. Somebody else's turn to have something to say. Developing the idea a bit. Warping the notes just a little bit to play with the expressive qualities of those long held notes. Ah, funny little trill here. And you can feel the anticipation kind of building. Like something's going to happen here. Getting a little louder. The drums are getting a little more assertive. Here comes some more stuff in there. And it's building. And it's building. It's almost like there's an inner frenzy that's beginning to show itself a little bit. Little shift happening in the sax. Ah, we heard the piano do something different. But it's still keeping up the conversation with the bass.
If I gave you everything that I own,
Ah, here's the voice again.
and asked for nothing
Now we've settled
in
back
return,
into a verse.
would you do the same for me as I would for you? Or take me for a ride and strip me of everything, including my pride. But spirit is something that no one destroys. And the sound
Here comes the drums, yes. Now we're locking into a nice groove here again. Ting, 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 ting. There's the piano. And now you hear this beep, 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 beep. Ooh. Just waiting and waiting. Here comes the next conversational moment. Everybody's gathering together. I guess we're coming to the end. Everybody has to have their final say together. The conclusion of the matter is... And we have just solved all the world's problems in this grand discussion and come to a final conclusion. And life goes on. Ching, ching, dum, bum, bum, bum. There we go. That was enjoyable. And I do feel the very strong jazz influence in it. It's interesting that the voice itself didn't try to go towards the blues style very much. It's very much settling more towards jazz than blues in the rhythmic elements and in the way everything is working together. Would I have thought of this as being a piece of rock music rather than a piece of jazz? If I were, let's say I were in a concert and hearing this being performed, and I do hear the rock element in here, but I would really tend towards thinking of it as jazz rather than rock. And that's interesting to me to see how something like this is still classed in the rock, under the rock umbrella, so to speak. Anyway, that was my first listen, my candid thoughts, my in-the-moment experience, and I will come back in a few days. I'll spend some time with the music and explore it a bit more and come back with my further thoughts in an in-depth. So I'll see you soon.
So, Amy, Sweet Home Alabama and My Sharona from the same decade with this one. How is this compared, style-wise, compared with these other two?
Well, I would say that this is far more sophisticated, far more developed texturally, musical ideas, even the instrumental setup. There's a whole lot more going into this than those two songs.
So you see why so many said, what, you go through the 70s only with this too? Man, there's so much in there. I guess you realize that
I expect I'll be spending several years in the 70s, or I could spend several years in the 70s.
Probably.
But anyway, one little baby step at a time.